One of the most fascinating aspects of Alien Earth is that the show has not limited itself to focusing exclusively on the xenomorph, the terrifying alien we have known for decades, but it has also chosen to introduce us to 4 brand new life forms. This expansion of the mythos is especially exciting because, after years of seeing mostly the same deadly creature, the series now pushes us to imagine a wider and far more dangerous ecosystem. With the release of the 6th episode, we finally have a complete picture of all 5 creatures, their characteristics, and the distinct threats they bring to any unlucky human who crosses their path. That is why today we are here on Contingency Plans, to examine them one by one. And, as is tradition on this channel, we will not just describe their design or abilities, but also discuss survival strategies, practical methods you could use if you ever ended up face-to-face with them. Who knows? Maybe one day Weyland-Yutani will actually accept your application and send you out there. Better to be prepared than sorry. Before diving in though, a quick but crucial reminder. Subscribe to the channel. I cannot tell you the exact percentage right now, but I know that many of the people watching these videos have not hit the subscribe button. It makes sense, since this is still a very young project. This is literally the 5th video. But subscribing means you won't miss upcoming breakdowns and survival guides. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started. Of course, when discussing Alien Earth, the first creature we must address is the one we know best, the xenomorph. What we encounter inside the Maginot is the ovomorph, the egg containing the terrifying facehugger. In the 5th episode, when the deaths begin, the crew appears almost clueless about how to respond once a facehugger attaches to a victim. At the same time, however, Weyland-Yutani clearly holds information. Morrow demonstrates knowledge others lack. He knows how to fight back, how to survive, and even manages to knock a xenomorph unconscious, revealing that the corporation is hiding far more data than it shares. On Contingency Plans, we focus on practical survival strategies, and Alien Earth itself shows us one of the simplest. The xenomorph shows little interest in people who display no fear. The explanation likely lies in pheromones. In other words, before even considering how to kill the creature, one of the best options is to control your reaction. Projecting calm, or at least faking it, may be enough to make the alien move on. Another equally practical tactic is to prevent the ovomorph from ever activating, thereby stopping the facehugger from emerging. Without the first stage of the cycle, the threat never escalates. Beyond that, xenomorphs have weaknesses that can be exploited in a spacecraft. Electrical discharges are particularly effective. Morrow wields a rifle capable of firing powerful bursts, and these prove highly effective in subduing the creature long enough to escape. So while xenomorphs are among the deadliest life forms known, Alien Earth shows they are not unbeatable. With the right mix of psychological control, tactical avoidance, and reliable weaponry, survival is possible. And if you want to go deeper, the channel already has dedicated guides, one on killing and surviving xenomorphs, and another focused entirely on facehuggers, to maximize your chances of making it back to Earth alive. The second species introduced in Alien Earth is Species 19, more commonly called ticks. They resemble oversized leeches or worms, covered in multiple twitching appendages that make them almost insect-like. Once attached to a host, most often at the neck, they drain blood with terrifying speed, swelling grotesquely as the victim collapses and dies. Chibouzo, the Maginot's science officer, notes that while ticks prefer fresh, living hosts, a starving tick will also feed on dead tissue, making them a threat even near corpses. What makes them particularly dangerous is their intelligence. These are not mindless parasites. In one instance, they manage to unscrew the lid of their container, demonstrating problem-solving skills. They also reproduce in disturbing ways. A tick can release larvae, and in one chilling case, it drops them directly into Chibouzo's water bottle. Once ingested, the eggs hatch rapidly, causing severe internal bleeding that is often fatal. If a tick is forcibly removed from its host, it defends itself by injecting a visible toxin into the wound. This substance spreads into the surrounding air, constricting airways and even causing blood to seep from the eyes of anyone nearby. Survival, however, is not impossible. The most important rule is to maintain distance. Ticks are not fast, giving humans an advantage. In Episode 5, we even see them handled using simple tools like tongs, proving that basic equipment is sufficient. If staying away is not an option, protecting vulnerable areas, especially the neck, is crucial. For larvae, prevention is key. Covering mouth and nose can block ingestion entirely. We still do not know the full extent of their durability, but given their small, insect-like size, complex weapons are likely unnecessary. A simple crush is probably enough to neutralize them. Horrifying as they are, ticks are not invincible. With careful preparation, protective gear, and a calm approach, humans have a real chance to survive encounters with these deadly parasites. Continuing with the alien creatures, we encounter another insect-like being, which has no official name but can conveniently be called the fly, just like the episode title. These creatures are fascinating because they are capable of building nests. In Alien Earth, we see, for instance, that flies can even live in pairs within a single nest, showing a degree of social organization. Their most notable characteristic, however, is their diet. They seem to require primarily metals and rocks for sustenance. Unlike other dangerous aliens, their interest in organic life appears minimal. From the series, it seems that flies are not a direct threat to humans. Their primary danger lies in inorganic materials, which they extract and absorb using a proboscis-like appendage. During one episode, they were shown emitting a semi-transparent whitish fluid, capable of corroding synthetic skin, such as that of the hybrid who died in the 6th episode. This suggests that while humans may be largely safe, robots or synthetics could be at risk. The Maginot was supposed to house the most dangerous creatures in the universe, so a species seemingly uninterested in organic life may appear useless. However, Weyland-Yutani likely had a specific reason for bringing them to Earth. Considering rival corporations with synthetic workers, flies could have been intended to target artificial components, adding a strategic value to their existence. Because they are focused on inorganic matter, traditional containment plans may not be critical. Observations suggest that a fly would generally ignore humans if left undisturbed. And if an alien species chooses to leave you alone, the wisest strategy is reciprocation. Do not provoke it. Understanding their behavior and dietary focus allows humans to coexist with these flies with minimal risk. Their intelligence and adaptability, particularly in nest building and resource collection, demonstrate a complex ecosystem that Weyland-Yutani was carefully monitoring for research or weaponization purposes. Next, we encounter what could be called the carnivorous plant of the series, the plumacare. Its behavior is strikingly similar to the earth plant known as Drosera. The plumacare uses mucilaginous secretions to lure unsuspecting prey, much like its terrestrial counterpart. While these secretions do not affect humans in the same way, the plant appears to have a level of awareness, capable of monitoring and moving within its environment independently. Primarily carnivorous, the plumacare has occasionally fed on surrounding flora, though only in extreme cases. Weyland-Yutani's notes indicate that despite extensive testing, no amount of force could open its leaves from the outside. The plant only closes when no prey is available or environmental conditions, such as temperature, are unsuitable. This presents a significant survival challenge. If a person is fully trapped by the plumacare, escape is nearly impossible. Death usually occurs from asphyxiation, dissolution, or exhaustion, as the plant's enzymes gradually consume the victim. Preventing capture is paramount. Once ensnared, external attempts to pry the leaves open are futile. The plant's internal digestive processes are unstoppable, and survival depends on avoiding contact entirely. One potential strategy involves manipulating environmental conditions, specifically temperature and humidity, to encourage the plant to close harmlessly or move away, rendering it harmless. The plumacare represents a different type of threat compared to mobile predators. It is stationary but lethal. Understanding its behavior, environmental triggers, and predatory methods is essential for anyone exploring areas where it exists. In essence, humans must treat it with caution and respect, avoiding direct interaction. Observing its patterns and controlling environmental factors can make encounters manageable, but the key rule remains: do not allow the plumacare to fully capture you. Finally, we encounter the last creature, the T. ocellus. This alien is arguably the most fascinating of those introduced in the series. Its most distinctive feature is its unique tentacles, which can extend and retract at will. At the end of these appendages sits a massive eye, perhaps the species' signature trait. The Teocelus's hunting method is both precise and terrifying. It selects a prey, reaches it with its tentacles, and uses them to remove the victim's eye, replacing it with its own massive eye. The tentacles then penetrate the skull, reaching the brain and overwriting the victim's neural patterns. The intelligence of the resulting creature is fully controlled by the Teocellus. What remains of the original victim is completely erased, as demonstrated in experiments conducted by Prodigy on the species. Despite its fascinating abilities, the Teocellus is not particularly strong physically. In early episodes, it is shown being contained under a simple box by one of the Lost Boys, suggesting that brute force is not its primary advantage. Its true power lies in intelligence and control over others, rather than direct combat. Surviving an encounter with a Teocellus requires strict prevention. It should be confined to a secure location with no chance of escape, and never removed for study unless absolutely necessary. Observations suggest it can plan and manipulate its environment to create chaos, whether aboard a spaceship or in a research facility. It is simply too intelligent to be left in an unsecured location. Additionally, the Teocellus is only truly dangerous to humans via the eyes. Wearing protective headgear or a helmet can entirely block its ability to interfere physically. In terms of raw strength, a human would likely be able to defeat it in a direct confrontation. These are the 5 creatures Weyland-Yutani brought, intentionally or by mistake, to Earth. Let us know which one you think is the most dangerous, and which is your favorite. As always, we'll see you soon with more content exploring these